Good evening, morning, afternoon, whatever, depending on where you are and when you're watching this. But this one a type of streamer pattern today that I've had a lot of success with friends when I was fishing back in Nevada. But super simple, pretty easy, not too many complicated steps or anything. First off, we're going to start off with a fire hole 811. This is a size 6. These fire hole hooks have been turned into one of my favorite streamer hooks. For most of my streamers have been turned over into to some version of this hook. We're going to start off with some GSP, some Vivus, and a 50D to start off with. We'll just get it onto the hook shank. And I found the best way to get rid of GSP thread. It's hard to cut, but it's easy if you just push the scissors against them. So we're going to start off with a zonker strip. This one's just an olive barred black, and I usually measure about 1.5 of the shank length for the tail on this fly. So we'll take our thread and move it all the way to the back, and then we're going to split the hairs here and find where we're going to put our tie-in point, which is about right there. And then we can make a couple of loose wraps, and then we can really start cranking down on some of this. I really like this GSP thread for tying streamers because I can put a lot of tension, a lot of pressure on it. Then once that's done, we fold the zonker strip back, and we'll just tie up in front. And then another material that I use for this that I have changed since the original version, I use this mouse belly white from Snake River Fly. It's just like a chenille, but it only has material on one side. So as you wrap it, there's one side you can wrap on, and one side will have the material. So I use this in white, and then we just tie it in here in the back. And then I run my thread all the way up to the very, very front, up by the eye of the hook. And then, all we gotta do is wrap this forward, and I just preen the fibers back as we're coming forward. You don't need to be super tight. That depends how thick you really want this. I like to keep mine just a little bit of space, not a ton of space, but a little bit of space in between the wraps. As we get up closer to the eye of the hook, and you're ready to tie this off. So there's that. We'll tie it off like this. Just a couple of wraps, and pull down there pretty good. Then we can cut this off. And then what I like to do is I'll come in with my loom brush, and I'll just kind of brush all this stuff out so all the fibers don't seem to be trapped. And then once that's done, I can just separate these fibers so they're laying kind of on the side and not on the top of the fly. And then all we got to do is take our zonker strip and we'll pull it over. And since it stretches a little bit, I like to give it a good little tug on it, and then find where everything meets and split the hairs, and then tie everything down. And then we just cut off the zonker strip, kind of pull everything back and tie that down a little bit. Now that we got everything tied down, I kind of just wrap over a little bit over all this to keep it down, and then we will whip finish. And then here, at this step, I'll take a little bit of super glue and dab some super glue right here in the very front of the fly. So the next step to this fly is to grab some fish skulls masks. I really like these things. Kind of make building a head relatively easy. So for this style of fly, I use these quite a bit. And all I do is I take it and I just run it right over the top, and I just seat it in place, about like that, and then come back with my thread, and I build up a little thread dam right here in front to keep it from coming forward and falling off the fly. I think I got a little bit of a thread dam going here, where it's not going to move on me. I got it kind of right where I want it, just like that. We'll whip finish again, and then we're almost finished. Then one thing I like to do with this fly is I come in with these Prismacolor markers. This one happens to be an olive, and I come in with the fine marker, the fine tip, and I'll color in this thread. Don't know if it's overly necessary, but it makes my brain happy. And then all that's really left to do is attach the eyes. So I just come in and I'll take a 3/16 or a 5mm Mirage beads, or Mirage eyes, and we'll put them on the fish skull. For this size, the size 5 of them for the fish masks takes a 5mm eye. So we'll just we'll place one on right there, just like that. And then we'll come on this side and put them over one on the other side. One on the other side. Push them down, and then if you ever fished these before without trying to glue them down, they're not going to stay there. So what I like to do is I come in with a little bit of Loon UV and Flow, and I'll drop it down a little bit there, and I'll put a whole bunch to kind of fill in the little gap here. Then I'll put some over the thread wraps in the front on both sides, and on the other eye to fill in the void that's there, and kind of just cover the eyes. Then we'll just rotate it around, hit it with the light for a few seconds, and boom, there we go. There we go. We have it's a little minnow pattern, a fish skull minnow pattern, I think is what we're going to call it. It's been a pretty good fly for me. You can tie it a bunch of different colors. I'll show you a picture at the end with the different color variations that I've used. So give it a whirl, and yeah, it should work well for you.